Welcome to Albion TV Presents the AO Daily Show, your source of real news in an unreal world, keeping you up to date on the latest news, events, and the great community of Albion Online. Today is Tuesday, the 7th of July, 2020, and I am your host, Casey Kasem, and joining me today in the booth, as always, is Bogul.
The what?
No, never mind. It's Shozen one.
Who is Casey? What? Chasm?
Yeah, it's a radio guy from America in the forevers. The guy who does the pop music, the countdown. Shaggy. I mean, come on.
I never listened to American radio. Sorry, sir. I'm a little lost here.
That's fine. I've never listened to German radio.
All right, cool. Well, welcome to Albion TV, where we have the best songs of the 70s, 80s, and 90s, where you can rock on to your that for the whole night. Enjoy some classical tunes. Let's play some Albion music.
Yeah, let's go ahead and drop that Judy Boots.
No, let's do something real. Let's do something real. Last week in Albion, sir. That's the show. We talk about the last week news, things that happened, things that we can look back on. You know, give people an update if they missed something.
Yeah, it was a great week last week. We had a lot going on. We did an interview. We had a dev talk. We had a giant war continue on as it always does. This week, while we were gone, there was a patch. So we have a lot to talk about, don't we, Bogul?
I mean, yesterday.
Where do you want to? Yeah, yesterday. Right? It's this week. It's while we were gone. Yesterday.
Yes. Let's start with last week. Let's look back at the last week first, and then sort of work our way through and end up where we are today. How about that? How about we start with the season rankings? Because I feel like we haven't looked at these. That's a good place
to start. I mean, let's open those up. Any shockers in the top? I mean, Elevate still running away with it by 175,000. Well on their way to getting 1 million.
1 million? You think they're going to crack?
Million? Yes, I think they're going to get it. I think they're going to get it. Double points, Bogul. Yeah. At the end of the week, double points start. Next week, it's all double points for a month. And you should be able to get the same amount of points in the last month that you got in the first 2 months. If you keep that up, that work. And I got to tell you, I think Elevate is probably stronger now than it was then. Like, they've gone and done so much as far as this coalition pushing through the PO empire, if you will, the partnership of equals rental empire of Syndic that has been assaulted for, feels like weeks now. And that whole time, I feel like it's just been building the strength of Elevate because it's got to be good for the morale. Like, it's got to be something that, pushes you to build up around you, right? Like, that's got to be good for you. And I imagine that if they keep up this rate of projection, that they should get to 1 million pretty easy. The only thing that stands in their way is themselves from getting it, and I haven't seen anything so far that says they're going to fall apart next week. No,
you're right. So I heard something about GVG teams being sold off between. I don't know. Like, is there something to this rumor? Is it true?
I don't know. It's so far it's unsubstantiated rumors that somebody was paying Rang for 2 GVG teams with a city. So I heard yes on the show, and then I heard no on the next show. So who knows? I don't know if it's that important until it happens. So when we see a city change hands, then we'll know.
I don't think that can be real, because like, selling something for a city seems like a massive troll, because you would basically have to come right out and say we are strong enough that we can defend any city and we have full control over that. I mean, we saw Elevate dominate in the ZVZs, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the city fights.
City fights they dominate. Okay, let's put it this way: city fights they absolutely dominate. The ZVZs on an even fight they'll win it. But the fights are so mixed because it's so hard to get an even fight or an advanced a fight in your advantage now because of the cluster queue. It often goes back and forth, and one battle, the advantage will go from one team to the next and back and forth, and you can win twice and still end up losing the battle. Like because more people come in. Now, Momono is in chat, and he actually made a really good point as to why they might not make 1 million points. The Crystal GVG points are not going to double. And we've discussed that before on the show, and that is where they get the majority of their points. They are more active in Crystal GVGs than anybody, and that has been what is their main source of points. The doubling goes from overworld objectives and territories. Now, Elevate has come into the territory world now more than it had been before, because they've taken over all that old PoE territory, right? And so now they have more territories, and a lot of those territories are T8s now.
I suppose. I mean, some of the center east here, yeah, that's true. But I just wanted to say in regards to the city still that it just seems like a weird rumor, and I don't think you can really sell any of that. Well, at least I think it's an interesting propaganda piece. But talking about the 5 versus 5s, I think on the weekend we might have another good chance to watch some of that happening, right? Mm-hmm. Talking about the weekend as well, it seems like we have a few big things coming up. You mentioned double points. We have, and that it coincides with an invasion. I think we have another round of level 8 soon. I think people were sort of worried about the that meta there. I saw some complaints about the Bloodletter Spectre Jacket thing. That seems a bit strong.
I've been told we're going to see a lot of that. Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, there is a big 2 weeks sort of coming up, I feel like, for this season at least.
There's a lot coming up that affects the season, but it's not just the season that's going to be affected, Bogul. Today is the 7th. In just 6 short days, Albion hits its 3rd anniversary.
7? No, what? 6?
The 13th.
No, on the 17th is the anniversary, but it's the start of the anniversary week.
It's the anniversary week. So on the 13th, we start the anniversary week from Monday through Friday, or from Sunday through Friday. We'll be doing stuff. Should be a pretty good week of events. I'm hoping to do something here. Don't know what we're going to get yet. And I understand that there's probably going to be something for you guys out there. I know I don't know if it's going to be that week or the week after. I don't know. But I imagine that something good will happen for you guys, as it seems to happen every year. So I would say get ready to do some crafting or some faming. I don't know for sure, but maybe.
History says we might be, right?
Yeah. I would suggest. I'm expecting a fame boost. I don't have it confirmed. I don't know what days it would be, but I've always seen a fame boost for anniversary week. It's always happened. And I think that, we'll probably get that, and they'll probably send us a...
How much is always? 2 out of...
2 out of 2 years.
Yeah. I'm just saying that...
And launch week as well.
Right.
Well, the week after launch week, when we got our fame bonus because launch week didn't work.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, this will be the 4th year in a row with a boost.
Okay. I mean, I said it last week as well. We talked about the new Avalonian weapons that come into the game and the intended addition of another thing here on the Destiny board, another node, and the same logic applying to the crafting as well. And I've been cautioning people about both speculation and maybe, if you can deal with it, sort of preparing yourselves for it. So that's another thing to consider. Would you want to panic buy artifacts now to sort of prepare? I don't.
I think we talked about this a little bit last week. I think the panic buy mode is over. Like not panic buy, but like the buy for profit mode is over on those. Like, I can't say for sure. I don't know what they're going to be. We don't know what the inflation is going to be on those. We don't know how expensive they're going to get. I'm not going to make a recommendation either way. I've done my thing. I prepared already for what I was going to do. I have a little move. It's a little one, just enough to, But
I suppose Carleon doesn't have a lot of impact on this yet. I'm just clicking around the market a little bit, and it seems pretty harmless so far. Maybe I'm just overly concerned with something that not a lot of people care about. That craft life, sir. That craft life.
Well, I'll tell you, I love that crafter life. But I've been getting more and more into that fight life again. On a personal note, guys, I can use my left arm again. I don't feel like Captain Hook anymore. It's kind of great. I can hit the keys with like 3 different fingers now. It's amazing. So yeah, I'm starting to get back into arenas. Start slow. I'm gonna work my way back into Crystal League.
You mean Crystal
One
League?
day at a time, Bogul. One day at a time.
What do you mean Crystal League? Is that team happening that we talked about?
I hope so. Well, first I have to get to the point where I can, feel like I have my timing back, maybe relearn my muscle memory, and then get back into it and better identify certain spells that are aimed at me so I can use the proper defensives and the right timing. Currently, where I lack is my defensive skills. I can aim at the people. I can shoot. I can even leap and hit the guy I want to.
Spray and pray doesn't work well in Albion, I think.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. No, you have to line up those crosshairs pretty good. Speaking of lining up crosshairs, I just got a bit of information about what we were talking about just seconds ago.
Oh.
That I said I didn't have a confirmation on the Rang Elevate situation, and I was told, yes, absolutely, Elevate bought some of the Rang teams.
Oh. How much
so
is
that
team?
is true. I had heard that it was a city next season. I did not get confirmation or denial from the person who sent me that info, and yeah, that
does chat know?
They did. I'm sure chat knows.
Chat, how much is a 5 versus 5 team that's competitive and can get you season points and all? 1 billion per team?
Ooh.
Is that just the transfer fee? I don't know, man.
They said billions. Okay.
500 million.
All right.
Okay. You can buy a few if you have all the cities, right? If you make like 200 mil a day from owning all the cities, like Elevate, I think they can purchase it. Like,
all right. So we have
team or 3.
It sounds like it was 1 bill for the top 2 teams of Rang. That's what the sound that we're hearing ruffling from the trees and the breeze.
That makes the whole season less interesting.
I mean, is it really interesting between those 2 teams? Is it though? I mean, those 2 teams have separated themselves so far that there really was no competition between 1 and 2. I don't think there was.
I mean,
after
the gap got bigger, right? And I don't remember when that point in time was when they bought it, and then they were 70K apart for 60K apart for a long time.
Yeah, they for over a month, and then just Elevate started taking off, and they added more teams. They just started doing better. The coalition allowed them to get more territories once they had their own secured territories. They had some T8 territories because, of course, they have enough teams to level those up. T8 territories are worth a good bit of points. They've done a really good job, and they continued to separate themselves from Rang. Once Rang realized it was completely out of running for the first place in the season, I think its thoughts were, what's best for Rang long term? I don't know if getting rid of 10 of your best players was the way to do it, but I guess $1 billion silver allows you to do something, right? But they were so far ahead of Native that they don't need to worry about more points. I mean,
I think they might want to.
200,000?
Yeah, double points and all. Last one. I don't know. I'm just. Are we calling it already? Are we calling the season for Elevate then?
Yes,
officially?
I would. I'm not going to call it for them, but I think they're the clear winner. I mean, you never know. Like, it's like saying, well, I think the Chiefs have a good chance of winning the Super Bowl next year, but I'm not going to call that they're going to win it because I don't even know if there's going to be football. For all I know, there might not even be an end of the season. COVID's going on. The world could end, Bogul. I'm not going to call a winner.
I think in that case, it would be like the current leaderboards.
Oh, so like if the world ends, the current leader just automatically wins?
I think so.
Okay. That's all right. So when I catch you guys in the afterlife, I'll congratulate you.
Yeah, one day. Well, let's talk about other things. The season, I mean, we looked at the top 2, the quote unquote end of the battle at the top 2. Native, we're just still trying to get an interview with these guys, right? And Last Warn apparently has a little bit of development that we sort of need to talk about, right? Last Warn is involved in some sort of push against Arch question mark, and I don't know. I had a very busy weekend, and apparently stuff went down in the last few days. I saw on Reddit some sort of weird meme about Exodus and stuff. What happened? Do you know?
Yeah, hold on.
So okay.
Yeah, I got a list, Bogul.
Oh.
So you're talking about Arch being attacked by Last Warn, right? Is that what you're talking about? The Arch Last Warn fight?
Where is that? Where was that? I don't even know. I don't even know where Arch lives. I think it's somewhere here.
West. Yeah.
West. Well,
now, go ahead.
Yes, west, but
pull up the map. Yeah, pull up the map. Okay.
I am. All
right.
Okay, and then chat, help me out, chat. You can tell your story while chat.
Okay. So I over the weekend I interviewed Seed of Nemesis of Arch X, and Seed, also known as Alucard Zero, if you follow him on YouTube. He's been in gaming for a long time, does a lot of YouTube stuff. Recently came to Albion about, I'm going to say like a year ago. He's been running Nemesis for a while. We interviewed him about the current situation and the history of Arch in general and his experience with Arch and how much he truly enjoys being a member of Arch. Those Arch guys really love it over there. They love being in Arch. Bogul doesn't care. He's like, yeah, so?
I was trying to find the guild. Is it spelled with like spaces in between?
Which one?
Skid. The one... The one
Nemesis?
Yeah.
I don't know how they spell it in game.
All right. Never mind the chat. Whoop. Continue, sir. Continue, sir.
Okay. So apparently I've been poked by the guys from Arch going, do you realize that we're under a war here? We're being assaulted. We're being wiped off the face of the earth. You guys don't even cover the fact that Arch is being eliminated. And I'm like, sorry, your fights are over before the time I get there. Oh no! I said something. Yeah, I said that. I think I said that. And he was like, "No, you don't understand. We fight all day." And I was like, "Okay, well, what you need to do is give me a name of somebody." And they said most of their fights have been at slightly different times than what we've been watching right now. And I was like, "Okay, well, who are you fighting then? Because you're saying it's the entire world. I haven't seen any of this fight." And he goes, "Well, it's Last Warn, and and everything, and Take Care." And I'm like, "That's just 3 guilds." And then he's like, and now and Last Warn 2 and Russian Dysphoria and the Midnight Wankers and Kruk Still Sore and Last Worm and Omama and the WWE and Pagod and Samba and TFU and the Gucci Gamers Toxic Group and the Black Forge Orcs. The Black Forge Orcs. Then they have like some other things that I think I need to leave out, but they said they're being attacked by all those guys, and they have issues with a number of others where there's like non-aggression pacts, but they're still being attacked by them, and I don't want to throw those guys under the bus because I don't know, I don't want to ruin their politics. But yeah, there was a lot of guys who were attacking Arch, and I was like, but Arch, don't you have 1,500 guilds?
11,272 members.
That's in one version of Arch. You have to go to the other version of Arch too. Arch X. I believe it's closer to about 1,600 total players.
Okay. So
and I was like, what?
Well, do they?
They have a lot of players, but the problem is a lot of those players aren't there. A lot of those players are inactive. Gluttony needs to do a purge, apparently. I don't know how he's going to go about that. To cut all those players, maybe a day at Wendy's. That would make me purge. Whatever you got to do to get those guys out, we'll do it. And, get those numbers down so you have an idea of what you're going with. Because right now, people are thinking there's 1,500 or 15,000 people, 16,000 people in Arch. They're going to go at you hard. But when you're saying you can only muster 300 people fighting force quality men for the Arch, I worry. I think that you might need to do some training. You might need to do some trimming
Wait, is that really what happened? Arch couldn't. No, I don't believe you. I don't believe
What,
you.
they could only bring 300 people to a fight?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
What time zone? Like,
I don't know. That's what I've heard. 300, 400 people to a fight at the best. So
I still don't believe you.
I know, you look at all those numbers, but you have to remember how many of those guys are just gatherers. How many of those guys are just PvEers? Arch isn't gathering PvP players. Like when you look at all the other, this is something I talked about with Seed about. All these other guilds, minus a few, like you have your newbies, you have your bacons, but the vast majority of guilds in the Outlands require you to come to be a warrior. You are there to be a soldier for the Outlands. Your job is to fight every day. You come to the fights, you fight, and that's your job. That's what you do. And for Arch, there is no CTA. Like, you're not being told to come. You're not being told you have to do X, Y, or Z. You can be a gatherer and just gather. You can be a fame farmer and just fame farm. And so for those groups of players who want access to the Outlands, Arch is like one of their only access points to it. So Arch gets inflated numbers for people who want Outlands access, but aren't really interested in fighting in the Outlands. And so it inflates their numbers huge. And it's their culture to keep them. So I don't think that their numbers are going to go down drastically. I do think, I meant it when Gluttony needs to purge those guys who are inactive. And he's done it before. He's in that, like right before Queen, they purged out a bunch of inactive guilds. Actually, I think it was before the invasion season even. So it was before that, as Arch was preparing for Queen. But they might need to do it again, it sounds like. It sounds like they have a lot of guilds. And I'm not going to say the ones that aren't pulling their weight, because I don't think you need to pull your weight in Arch. I think just being part of Arch is pulling your weight. Being active and playing the game in any way possible is fine with Arch. But you have to be there and playing. And I think that's important.
I just got a PM from Mamono saying he sent me a screenshot with a lot of kill fame. If you want to link the source, by the way, I might show that. And he says they killed 400 plus and never got to set foot in GMK, which is Gravemont Knoll, at 05 last night. He says they lost their main hideout in GMK. Native Elevate PoE all worked together to help Arch save their hideout and serve.
Okay.
BA, Handle, Rang, LW, Savage all worked together with the anti-Arch coalition to fight us and Arch. More than 1,000 people were massed to kill Arch hideout, he says.
So weird. Like,
why?
Yeah, why? I would like to hear why. Why does everybody want to blow up Arch? What's like what? I never
thought everybody was busy, and why would Native, Elevate, and PoE work together to help Arch? What? It's confusing.
See, that was what I was told too, and I thought this was the weird thing, that Elevate and Poe joined forces to defend against defend the hideout against the coalition of the anti-archers of the Last Warn guys, and like several other guilds here who came to destroy them. Yeah, I don't know why. I think it's interesting that like people can put aside one set of differences to just get another set of content, and that's good. But yeah, it's weird sometimes here in Albion. The choices that people make to be on one person's side for a day, and then to be on the opposite side the next day. It's very interesting, and I hope that it's temporary, because I don't want to see these guys all work together. I think the game is best when everybody fights everybody. Like the more groups you have fighting against each other, the absolute better the game is. And right now, with the two front war and like the secondary war going on, we've had content every day for almost all the players in the Outlands. And that's my main concern with anything going on in the Outlands politically. Whatever gets the most people fight it. So I'm happy with it. And if somebody going down to knock on the Arch door made the entire server perk up and jump on for 5 UTC, awesome. That's fantastic. Whatever gets the content, right?
I see a chat spam that I want to read briefly.
Okay,
people don't realize with Arch, is the amount of political pressure they can have on a season win. There are multiple seasons where Arch offered to join a side for a price, even cases of people paying off Arch not to get involved. But it wasn't really till Queen that they become this much of an underlying threat to pretty much everyone. They are really a wild card, or the wild card of Albion.
I feel. Do you remember when Frog won? I like to use this as an example of fear all the time. When Frog one's 5v5 team was able to push off the entire Guild of Sun and make them hide under a tower. I know that's an exaggeration, but you remember that?
I don't know. Yes.
Yes,
What's
you do.
the point of the
And
story?
it was because the Sun was scared of that 5-man squad. Sun could have killed that 5-man squad if they separated their cooldowns into 2. Like, that's all they need to do is attack in 2
who needs
phases.
to work together, and who can defend themselves?
Well, here's the thing.
Arch
No, I think that Arch is being attacked because and feared because of that large number.
Right.
When in reality, Arch is not as strong as what a number makes them appear to be. Like, the 5 men of Frog 1 were not so strong that they could have killed everybody in Sun, especially under the damn tower. Sun had the advantage. Sun should have won that fight. I don't see Arch as scary as what people say they are. Now, can Arch against a singular guild or 2 guilds really defend itself really well with its 500-man force? Yeah. But they're not as well organized as most other 500-man forces because they're literally in 17 guilds. You might get 35
not a deterrent
guilds
if you
to
have
show up
Discord and if you have pings for. I don't know.
But it's that working together with the same group every day in and day out. It's the showing up in the Discord and having those conversations and being known well. It's the being disciplined enough so that when you see like a battle mount go down, 2 people go loot that battle mount instead of 65. And I don't feel like Arch has that discipline yet. Doesn't have that that kind of thing to be as dangerous as what people say they are. Now, maybe they are. Maybe I'm being naive, and maybe somebody really does say, no, you don't understand that 15,000 people could show up and it's real. Now, maybe it's the fear of what Arch can do when the Roads of Avalon come out and those guilds can actually defend themselves as 20-man groups, as 40-man groups, and can actually start to play and then raise up each individual guild itself to a more functioning level. And then they could become like the most scary force in the game. If they had an increase in activity level by about 25%, oh my God, across the board, oof, that would be
the raiders that appear from the mists to raid your shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
It could be brutal all day long. They could be coming from everywhere as 20-man groups from all different areas of the roads. But right now, while they're penned into that area, I don't see them as much of a danger as what people make them out to do. And I understand like what was said in that spam that people have. They've reached out to Arch every single season to try to get them on their side. And sometimes they do get them on their side. Most of the times they don't. But I
mean the strength of Arch is there to be able to put people into cluster queue, right? And then sort of work that angle of large scale fights, and then help sort of push people with N+1. But individually, yeah, maybe. It's just a curious thing that is sort of developing as well. I mean, we were focused on this whole coalition war and the war in the north for the last 3-4 weeks now, even longer maybe. The north kind of has settled, right? The north kind of has died down. At least we don't see as much fighting, and then everything seems to have shifted here towards the south. We're still curious why nobody is attacking the Springs and Wetland thing, by the way. This thing has been, sun and all, but I don't. It's another front that just randomly opened up, and I haven't figured out the connection yet, and that's one thing I'm sort of trying to piece together, coming with the next invasion day. Yeah.
I was just looking at the hotfix that was getting talked about on the roundtable regarding Spectre Jacket. hopefully we will see one of those in the near future.
Well, maybe I think he said, since you're leaking it now, since they're looking at it, if it's possible or not.
Yeah, that's what they're looking at, and I just wanted to, because that's a big thing that people have been concerned about. I get that message a lot. Please. So yeah, I wanted to let you know they are looking into it, and there's work being done on it. Good to know.
We sort of talked for half an hour now about the current political situation because it is a mess. It's a huge mess right now, and it's cool to see. It's hard to figure out, right? It's so many entities that change affiliations or allegiances after just a day, or for an objective for a day. But I think we didn't plug some of the other things we had last week. Do we want to do this now, or are we just
we should
calling this?
We should. Okay. No, we should talk about some of them. I mean, like last week we had the dev talk, which I thought was fantastic. I'm really looking forward to Corrupted Dungeons. Like that's I want to get back into my timings so that I can do those when they come out, even if I have to do like the newbie version, like the lowest level. I just find the concept cool. Okay. And I want to be involved in any way at all so that I can call them better and be,
I mean, we're looking at this option, right? We're looking at if we can stream some of these higher ranked.
You want to talk about that? Okay, let's talk about that real quick. So Bogul and I, because I think this is really interesting. Bogul and I are looking at the possibility of streaming Corrupted Dungeons and putting them on a slight delay and actually showing both views at the same time so that you can see both players playing against each other in the same dungeon on the same stream by having both views up at the same time and on a slight delay so that you guys can't like screw them over, which I think is going to be an awesome way to show Corrupted Dungeons that you guys won't be able to do yourselves. And the only way it could be done is if we do that for you. So yeah, it's every time we can think of something that we can do that's separate, right? Like you guys can't do, we want to make that available to you to see. We're also working on for ZVZs, since we're on the subject of things you guys can't do, is having a farther out view that you guys get to see occasionally. So you just get to see how many people are on the screen. Like we can't, we're looking at, there's a lot of limitations to doing the zoomed out view and doing things with like the free cam that we have access to. The on stream would look really bad and we don't want to do that. But we are looking at ways right now to make it so occasionally, you will be able to see some zoomed out areas and larger battles. But the one that I'm really looking forward to the most is the ability to show both corrupted players at the same time, because I think that's gonna I don't know, like for people who are interested in Corrupted Dungeons, seeing the plays and counter plays from both players' perspective, I think it'll be different. I think it'll be cool. I'm looking forward to that.
I agree. Random question. I just clicked around on the video. What kind of armor is this? Chat, do you know what is this?
I do.
Green sparkles, and that cape looks weird too. I can't zoom in further. Sorry.
Robin does, but Robin's not going to tell us, is he? I believe the cape is actually a skin. That looks a lot like one of the founders' skins, to be honest.
I don't know.
For capes.
It looks Amoebius. All right, tell us. Weird looking. All right.
Yeah, weird looking. So
wait, here it's bigger. Look, wait, it's kind of.
Oh,
look at this. It's like that's
okay.
That's different.
I had something that looked
pretty cool.
Season 1 of my right. Sorry.
Random moment here. Chat teaser tip. Hype. All right.
It does look good. It looks good, and I'm excited for it. And this is like we keep talking about the difficulty in balancing the game for 1v1, 2v2, 5v5, and ZVZ. Good luck, Retro. My hat's off to you.
But other than that dev talk that happened last week that everybody should watch because it's a good intro as to what the corrupted dungeons will be, there was also a actual patch that that technically wasn't last week, right?
It was this week, but yeah,
it was sort of something we should talk about because it's from yesterday, and it's
yesterday.
It's a bigger thing, I think, to talk about.
Well, yeah, actually, there's a couple of things in this that I think are really important to talk about. We have the changes to mounts, the changes to demounting. I think those are important. The invulnerability window when demounted, I think, is a good thing. We had heard people complaining about at the end of ganking. Ganking is over. You've slowed down our mounts. You've eliminated our ability to chain CC somebody on a mount. We can't sleep them for 4 days and then kill them. What are you doing to us? You're ruining my life.
Is a final verdict on that in after a day now? Did that actually happen, chat? Because I feel like
a final verdict, no, but I have the initial feelings on it from people. It's good. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
So what they get to use a skill. If you're a good ganker, you're still going to kill them. And if you're one of those guys getting attacked by not good gankers, then you're alive and you're thrilled. Just yay. Just yay. Oh, the F in chat for Swift Claws. I have seen a lot more mounts today. I didn't even think about that. Good point. Okay. I'll throw an F in chat for Swift Mount. And I think it's good to see mounts being rebalanced because, yeah, we only saw Swift Claws out there, and that's not good. One mount shouldn't be the mount to end them all. We are going to be seeing mounts with changes coming up soon. There will be hopefully skills on all the mounts, and there'll be more changes to mounts coming out. So I think this is a beginning of that, to give them a lower starting area, and then you can give them more with those skills.
I mean, some of these are buffed, right? Some of them got nerfed, and like some of the quote unquote normal mounts, the horses and the stags actually got a buff, right? But I agree. I mean, it's one of the things that is cool to have, but I don't think we have any specifics on that yet, right? It's just a thing that we know that they're looking at mount skills and stuff, but we don't have which ones.
Yeah, we have no idea what they're gonna do. Yeah. I have no idea when it's gonna happen. I hope it happens sooner rather than later. I love the idea of mounts being more differentiated from each other rather than just by speed and carry weight. I love the mounts that have skills. I think it's awesome, and I want everybody's mounts to be cool. I think that's okay. I think having cooler mounts is great. My son keeps asking when the dragon mount is coming, and I'm going right after the bee mount. So
Chad just said, did you look at the price of stags? And I couldn't help it. Jumped from 90k to 135, at least in Cardion. But that might just be initial speculation. Somebody might move. But I didn't look at other cities. What's the foal thing? The baby one. It's called foal, right? Oh. Nope. Baby. There you go. Fawn. Yeah. People like the TV mods.
Welcome back, Dead Lizard. Apparently his PC stopped working in March, but his house was struck by lightning on the 4th, and insurance bought him a new PC. So congratulations, welcome back. It was good to see you.
Apparently there's one more change that we need to bring up briefly. There were some fixes to prevent Hellgate ratting through reflect builds.
Yeah, we need to bring that up.
But apparently, there's like a bunch of mobs in the Hellgates, right? And the strategy was just to run reflect and then get Hellgate ratting fame. But apparently they forgot to include that fix where area effect spells by mobs will no longer trigger that reflection. They forgot to put that on the mob. That's like the Hellgate mob that opens
the guy out front, the one who opens the portal, like so they can just get in anyway. It might still make it a little bit harder to do the mobs inside, which is good. but the problem is they can get in. So
Whoops.
I'm gonna give that another F in chat Tuesday. That's not what we're supposed to do, guys. I'm confused.
I honestly think that it would just go like, oh yeah, that one too. Whoops, and then they will just patch that. And,
yeah. Do you think that's worth doing a hot fix for, or do you think that we'll see that with like a later patch?
Nah, that's just a thing that happens soon because they're like, yeah, we fixed that, and then somebody goes no, and then they go, we will fix that, something like this.
Yeah, I think it'll be fixed. I don't think they're gonna let this one go. It's
yeah,
I get it. Happens. Yeah, happens.
That happened yesterday, patch 15.
Yeah. I like patch 15, Bogul.
So what's in patch 16? Do we know?
Well, they're gonna make it so that you can't. They're gonna fix the guy outside the Hellgate. And
for 16, I don't know.
Reflect isn't gonna work on him. There'll be more changes to mounts. Probably, I would say
not with 16. We do. I'm talking about 16 now. I was trying to make a joke about the next thing and looking at this.
I know. Bogul, what I will say though is it's July, and that means that we're really close to the off season. And from what I understand, the off season means new patch. So I'm getting excited. Bogul. I'm really getting excited. Every day, I don't know. You know, like Christmas. You guys have Christmas in Germany?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Well, they give us presents here, and you don't get the presents until the morning. I feel like it's a week away, and I'm like, I want those presents now. And it's different because I get to play with everybody else's presents too, not just my own. When one of these patches, big content updates comes out, I get to see something new from everybody else and get to see everybody else playing with their presents. And I really, I really want to see some of my favorite people in this game. Have been some of those solo players who don't get a lot of exposure, and I haven't been able to really find a way of giving them exposure. Okay, like the Aquarts and like the IGTs. These guys, I don't give them enough exposure.
I feel like they make pretty
they good YouTube videos, and I'm sure they get a lot. They get a lot themselves.
Yes, they make YouTube videos.
Yeah, they do. They have their own stuff, and they get a lot of their own stuff going there. But they haven't really had a lot of their own content. And because they're like these solo streamers trying to stream Albion, they've gotten ganked a lot by stream snipers. And this new thing that's coming out for them, I feel will give them the opportunity to do what they're best at and not have to worry about stream snipers. And people will want to watch it because it's got this added mechanism in it. Like, we talked about it briefly when we first talked about the corrupted dungeons last week, but you can, after you finish a corrupted dungeon, you can just go right back into the next one. Like, you don't have to leave. You can just grind out the next one. You don't have to go find a portal. You don't have to go get a map. You don't have to go back to town. You don't have to do anything. You can just grind out another one. And I imagine that these top streamers who are really good at that solo content are going to be pressured by their viewers to stay inside those dungeons.
Oh no.
And so they're going to become bigger and bigger loot piñatas, right? This is going to be so good to watch from a salt mine perspective, and just, oh God, Bogul. I really am looking forward to us being able to stream both sides of that stuff. And you know what else I'm looking forward to?
Giving away gold?
Yes, people need to enter the raffle. Like, there's nobody's in the raffle.
Random thing. I think we do have an interview lined up with one of the more active small scale content streamers. I think we do have a pretend to be an expert interview lined up with AlbionTV, I think. So when this solo bonanza fiesta will happen, I think we will have a few people to sort of comment on potential meta, some potential builds, some potential strategy. I'm looking forward to showcase a different side of Albion here on the channel, and just with quote unquote experts, I suppose.
Yeah, the pretending to be an expert guys, which means guys who know way more about a subject than us, and we will pretend to know what we're talking about. No, we're going to try to get a number of 1v1 players in that week, because I think it's important when we have something new like this come in that we give you guys access to those experts, to the people who really know their craft, and try to bring them to you in a way that is helpful to you so you guys can do better at these solo dungeons. Because I imagine like there's going to be a lot of hardcore players who are going to jump right in. It's going to be a bloodbath, and it's going to be amazing. Bogul, oh my God, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
But it's time to pull the raffle. So 30 seconds left. Then we're going to pull the raffle. Then Bogul and I have to get out of here because we've got a show in 4 minutes. And we got to go meet up with Lupac, because Lupac's going to be joining us today for this Tuesday Crystal League show. We'll be doing the 4-5s, maybe. I think it's 4-5s today. I believe today is a 4 and yesterday was a 3. Or I'm wrong. One of the two is true. And either way, we'll be having matches at 20 and 20, 30 UTC. Lupac will be casting them. We'll be giving away. It's 3-5s. Okay, jeez. Every other day. We'll have Lupac here. We'll be giving away raffles. We'll be talking about these solo corrupted dungeons. We'll be talking about the changes to the CC control when you get demounted. Lots of things that I'm sure Lupac will be interested in as one of those solo murderous specialists here in Albions. So thank you guys for watching. Get into the raffle. I'm pulling it right now. And we'll see you guys in a few minutes.